In this Photoshop tutorial we're going to be looking at layer masks and how they can be more beneficial as opposed to using just straight selections. Okay, so this is the outcome we're going to create here. I've got two layers. Top image is this image of this guy holding the banana here, and behind it's just a background image of a woman jumping into a washing machine. Okay, so I'll go to a project file. Okay, so here's the original photo of the guy holding the banana, and there's the background. Right, so what we're going to do first is we are going to grab the quick selection tool and we're going to select this guy. You can use the square brackets on the keyboards next to the P to change the size of your selection area. So I'm just clicking the mouse here, running over the outline of the shape of our guy. Okay, so you want to take a bit of time and go around and get it as an accurate original selection as possible, and then we're going to spend some time refining the selection. Okay, I'm Control Plus to zoom in, see if we can do better. Oh, yeah. Leg there. Now if you go over the edge and you want to remove something from the selection, you hold down the Alt key and that will remove it from the selection. Cool, that looks pretty good. Okay, I'm holding the space bar down and I can drag around the screen when I do that. Nice little selection here, Control to zoom in, see if we can do a better job on this. Alright, so I'm just going to hold down the Alt key. Ooh. See if we can get rid of it, it's pretty picky. Might be tempted just to cut that off actually. It's probably going to look a bit weird. Alright. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yeah, you might need to cut that off, I think. Right, we'll come back to that later anyway. Okay, so just moving around the image. Use the Refine Edge tool up here on the here and some of the Smart Radius tool, which I've done a previous tutorial on, to select the hair. Alright, okay. So I'm pretty happy with that selection. I'm going to click Refine Edge. Okay, so you can see the size of our selection there. I'm going to click Smart Radius. We're going to bring that in, and we're going to increase the size of our tool tip here, and let's just shoot around and do it here. Looks pretty good. Oh, yep, we had more here than I thought. Cool. Okay. And right, now what we want to do is we're going to zoom in. Now the goal here is to get this as accurately selected as possible, and then we're going to output it to a layer mask as opposed to a selection, which we can then do some more stuff with. Okay. So move around the screen. So we've got a few issues here. We've got a bit of colour sort of bleeding into the edge there. So what we can do is we can smooth out the selection a bit, maybe feather it just a little bit, a couple of pixels there, and shift the edge. If you shift the edge to a negative, it basically just cuts into the edge of your selection. You can tidy it up a bit. So I'm just going to make that a negative and see it just sort of starts eating into that edge there, and you get quite a nice smooth edge there. So that's starting to look quite nice along there, nice and sharp edges. Cool, starting to look pretty good. Okay, so we're going to output this to a layer mask. There we go. Now if you do have a bit of colour contamination going over the edge, you can actually click that option there and slide that up, and that will start sort of eating away at some of that edge stuff. So let's go down the bottom here where we had that problem down here. I'm going to zoom in a bit, just using the space key to slide around. Okay, so if you drag that up to 100, you see it starts sort of eating at it, the edge there, but that's sort of a bit aggressive. Somewhere around there looks pretty good. Obviously we're zoomed into 200% now, so this is quite pixelated, but it's not a problem at this point. Okay, so we'll go to new layer with mask. Okay, happy with that. Cool. Alright, so that's pretty good selection to start off with. I'm going to turn off that background now because it's a bit distracting. And what I might do is actually just put a black layer there, so we can see any imperfections in our selection. Now the benefit to using a layer mask over just using a selection is you're not 100% tied into your decision. So if I'd use a selection at this point, I'd be trapped, like I wouldn't be able to come back and play with this. Whereas because we have a layer mask, we still have the original image sitting over here. So I can go back, if I've cut off a little bit much, I can go back and I can sort of edit it and I can play with it until I get a really professional outcome. So I'm going to zoom in. And how you edit the layer mask is you can see that looking at the small thumbnail of the layer mask here, the background is blacked out and where the original layer is showing is white. So you actually can use just the brush tool, and either the black or the white to deselect or show parts of the mask. So let's zoom right in. We can go into this little corner there. So let's say we want to just get rid of that little bit of white there that's sort of showing up. So you've got to click on your layer mask. Just going to bring the flow down a little bit. Just give us a slightly smoother brush head, a little bit less of a hard edge. And we can grab our brush tool. Okay, so we want to add to the mask, so we're going to use black. Just sort of brush in there. Cool. Okay, so it looks pretty good. Okay, so on the jacket here, see I've got it, when you look closely, that jacket edge isn't actually very good. So what I want to do is I'm going to swap to the white. And we've got our brush, which we've lowered the opacity and the flow. And now we can just run up here and just soften this edge a bit. Get a nice crisp line there. Now you can use any brush settings you want, but I find if you soften them a little bit, like if you change the opacity down and change the flow down, it just makes it a little bit more forgiving. You can sort of paint with it. Looks pretty good. Cool, I'm happy with that. Right, so this is where we made the decision before to kind of drop that point there. She looks pretty good, but you can just run along the edge there if you want to sort of bring back any of the coat. I could run it down there, but I'm quite happy with the way that looks. Once again, if you've just got a little bit of a messy bit there, so we can swap back to black and we can just sort of paint it out. Once again, you can zoom in, you can see the sort of accuracy you can start sort of achieving with these techniques. Like any pixel that's sort of bothering you, you can have a go out and sort out. looks pretty good there. Alright, over here on the inside of the leg, this is not ideal, there's a bit of colour bleeding into the image there. So we'll have a go at trying to sort that out. Okay, so we want black. I'm just going to lower the size of my brush and just going to rub the brush along the edge there to get rid of that colour bleed. So as you can see, the benefit of using the layer mask here, like you're not, if I mess up, it's no huge deal. I can always just undo it, or I can start painting from the other side with the white brush to get back anything. It sort of just gives you a lot more control, and in the end you're going to end up with a way more professional outcome. So selections are good for quick stuff, but if you really need a nice sharp edge, you're going to get a way better outcome by using a layer mask. Cool. Okay, so when we zoom out, that's looking pretty sharp now. It's not really a problem there, is it? Okay, over this hand here it was pretty messy, so we're going to have a go at that. So once again, you want to zoom in as much as you can, really. The more zoomed in you are, the more accurate you're going to be. And then we can just paint away there. Make sure there's no sort of obvious white showing through. Now, because the background image we're going to put this onto has got a lot of white on it, it's quite over exposed on purpose. This will actually, it's not going to create a problem, but I wanted to cover the technique and why you'd use it. Yeah, so that's up on the jacket arm. You've got a bit of a problem up there. So we can just brush that out. Obviously you can spend as long as you want. I think you're getting the point in terms of my tutorial, exactly how we do this, so I'm not going to go into a huge level of detail as much as I would if I was trying to produce something to a publishable standard, but I think it's starting to look pretty crisp. Yeah, so there's a bit of some bleeding along there that would sort out if I was going to print that anywhere. Cool, alright. Looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. Right, so we're going to turn off the background there, or the black layer I created. I can delete that layer now, and I can delete the copy. Don't need either of those. And we can turn on our background layer. Right, so the layer with the mask attached to it behaves exactly the same way as the selection would, so we can, we're on the wrong layer, so we can drag it around. You just need to be careful that you're clicking on the image and not the mask. Obviously to edit the mask before, I needed to click on the thumbnail on that side. I click on that side there and I can move this around. We can do things like free transform, so we're going to go edit, free transform, or Control T. And we can scale down the image. I think I did a edit, free transform, or transform horizontal flip. And I put them there. Cool, and so there's pretty much the image that I created before. Just to sort of make it look a little bit more like the background, we'll just quickly do some adjustments to the vibrance there. Just bring that back a bit, take a bit of the colour out, and maybe just play with the curves a little bit, just to bring it down. Cool, alright, so there's your nicely masked man there. So hopefully that's shown you how to use a layer mask and why you'd use a layer mask over a quick selection.